Resin inclusion. Cold cream resins. Steps to prepare samples for histology are: 1. Fixation, 2. Dehydration, 3. Infiltration, 4. Polymerization, 5. Blocking. The specimens must be constantly agitated during fixation, dehydration and infiltration. Here, you can see reagents necessary to prepare inclusions, pure resin and hardeners for infiltration and polymerization phases, a powder and a universal liquid to prepare a glue, and several accessories such as histoblocks, cover films, a Teflon mold, and staining jars. Cut small portions of samples, and keep them in buffered glutaraldehyde for from 12 to 24 hours. Then, process your samples in a graded ethanol series. Remember to follow safe laboratory practices and procedures to handle reagents and lab tools. This is a very slow graded ethanol series, to gradually replace water with ethanol. Follow passages, illustrated in the table, to transfer your sample from low-grade ethanol to absolute-grade ethanol. It will take 6 days. Then, transfer your samples in a mixture made of 50% absolute ethanol and 50% pure resin. After 24 hours, transfer the samples in pure resin for other 24 hours. Repeat another step in pure resin for the same time interval. In order to prepare the infiltration resin, mix 100 ml of pure resin and the content of 1 bag of hardener 1, using a beaker and a magnetic stirrer. Pour the mixture in a glass jar, and store it into the refrigerator. Label the jar and use the infiltration resin within a month. Before introducing samples in a Teflon mold, prepare a scheme of how you want to place the samples, taking into account of the orientation of each fragment. Depending on the orientation, you could obtain transversal or longitudinal sections. Now, transfer your samples in a petri dish following the same arrangement in your scheme. Using a clean graded cylinder, to dispense 15 ml of the infiltration resin. Pour the resin into a beaker, and put it on a magnetic stirrer. Dispense 500 microliter of hardener 2 with a pasteur, and add it to the beaker to prepare a polymerization resin. Stir it for about 30 seconds or not over than 1 minute, until the mixture will turn blue. Using a pipette, pour a thin layer of mixture in each form. You could break the tip of the pipette if it is too narrow. Introduce the samples in the forms. Add further mixture to fill the forms and completely cover the samples. Fill the forms until creating a convex meniscus. Avoid introducing too much mixture. Cover each form with a cover film. Transfer the mold to a refrigerator overnight. The day after, prepare the glue to attach the histoblocks to the samples. Using a glass jar, mix 9 ml of the universal liquid and a double quantity of powder. Use different cylinders to dispense the two reagents since they dry quickly when combined. You can reuse many times the jar for mixing the two components. The glue dries very quickly, therefore, consider that you have few minutes to attach the histoblocks. After removing the cover films, put a thin layer of glue on each form. Place a previously labeled histoblock on each form. Add further glue and leave the mold under a fume hood for from 12 to 24 hours. When the glue is dry, you can clamp the histoblock on the microtome central device. Fix an histoblade specific for resin inclusions to the blade holder. Place few drops of distilled water on a slide. Then, place some sections on the slide. The section will unroll. You can place several sections on the same slide. Take note of thickness on the slide label. To stain your sections, you could use Toluidine blue diluted in distilled water. Make some preliminary tests to find the ideal time and concentration to obtain sections properly stained. Mount your slides with U-kit and then cover them with a cover glass to obtain a permanent slide.